This next musical is kind of funny to me because we knew that we were honoring some guys from Camelot. And so we pulled out the book, and to my shock and awe, none of the students had ever heard of it. Which is amazing. You know? But they worked very, very hard to get this music together with Camelot. And I have to tell you, seeing the costumes, it brings a tear to my eye, really. All these costumes, I'm sure you recognize something you wore already up here. And when we pulled out the Camelot costumes, it really did bring me down memory lane. So now our salute to Camelot.
He's numb, he shakes, he quails, he quakes, and that what the king is doing tonight.
There was a spot for one brief shining moment that was known as Camelot.
We have 3 recipients from this show. This show started an era of, I call, the age of the boys. From this point on, we had some remarkable singers come through the school. And these boys in this show led the way and made it cool enough to come in and cool enough to join a choir and cool enough to be part of the school and do the show. I also have to say that there is one vivid memory, if anybody saw this Camelot production, that you would have. And all I'm going to say is it involved a dog. Inside joke. Okay. So, first, Breandan Carter. Breandan Carter came here and he was always had the sidekick of his brother Danny. If you read his bio, he tells you from a very early time on he would have his arm around his little brother when they were in grade school, just trying to keep him under control. And I don't think that ever changed. Pretty much. Breandan, another one. He had a fabulous baritone voice. He was a natural actor. He played a great villain. All of these students that I'm talking about were the brightest of the bright. They were all very, very bright and hardworking. And Breandan exemplified that through every role he did, and he did many roles. And I'll tell you, as an understudy, he and his brother were absolutely invaluable to me. And I'll discuss that at a later time. But Breandan Carter is now living out in California. He is in the entertainment business. His bio is in here. So if you want to know more about all these wonderful people, you can look in here. I'm just trying to keep everything moving and a little bit brief tonight. So, but Breandan, would you please come up and accept your award?
I first came here, I was in 5th grade. We were doing a play of Charlie Brown at my other school, and it didn't come together, we weren't able to do it, and we were crushed. So my parents brought us here at 5th and 4th grade, my brother and I, and the first thing that I saw was Mr. McEwan holding open the door, and he looked at the both of us, like adults, and said, "Gentlemen." And I was like, well, that's going to be cool. Gentlemen. I'm in 5th grade, this is so neat. And I was petrified. I was like, I want to do this correctly. I want to do this very right. And so we went in there and with all the high school students who looked just like gods. And Mr. McEwan was in the front of the class, and all of us, we were in King and I, so all of the little kids were in the front listening and getting ready. And all of a sudden he raised his voice for the first time I'd ever heard it. And I could have just died. I was like, it was horrifying. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And he was saying, high schoolers, guys, quiet down. See these kids up front? These kids are real actors. These kids are ready to learn. They are professionals. Act like that. And from that moment forward, it was just the most fun and the most professional and exciting and exhilarating and rewarding experiences of my entire life have been here in this school. It's just been absolutely amazing. Let alone the choir, which is just, I miss it so much. Like, I wish I could come back and just, no, I'm a student. I'm still a student. And just sing. It's so much fun. Thank you guys so much.
I just mentioned Shane Donovan, who is also being honored tonight. He couldn't make it. He lives in New York, and he is a working and sometimes starving actor. You know how that is. Hear about those things. His little bio is in here. He's doing very, very well. Just couldn't make this Saturday night, but we certainly love and miss Shane here tonight because he was part of the years of the boys. Okay, and finally, from Camelot, we have King Arthur. So Damon, I mean, he had a very well-known name in the school, and that had to be a little tricky when your mother's a famous teacher. And he came in, and he was very talented, but again, another one that was very humble. I never had to keep these kids' heads down, or they were just always wonderful, wonderful kids. Damon had a musicality about him that was different than some of the others. He had a natural gift for harmony, and when he would do King Arthur, another smarty pants. I mean, these kids were just so smart. They could learn their lines in the night, do all their homework, learn all their songs. They were just fabulous students to work with. I trusted Damon so much with so many things, not the least of which was directing my choir. We had an event here at school. I was unable to do it. I wrote out the book, I gave it to Damon, and I said, here, you're conducting the choir. And I can remember Sister Pat came up to me the next day, and she said, one of the highest compliments I can give you is that your students can do what they're supposed to do when you're not around. And that was thanks to Damon. He's always been there for me. He's always been there for every Spellman production. He always comes back, and he always delivers. Damon Warnock.
Thank you very much. Bob would be so disappointed I brought my lines tonight. As some of you know, and I've just learned, my mom taught here for close to 35 years. 40. Which allowed my sister and I to take part in Bob's shows from a very, very young age. Sorry, Heather, 4 months, I was the Christ child. As a student here, those shows led by Bob and Dory would continue to be the highlight of my entire high school existence. I'm sure most of you are aware those shows here have been a staple for over 40 years under the careful guidance of people like Bob and Dory and Janet and people like them that want to preserve the art of the theater. Being a student, we felt as though we were part of something big. The theater group here, you know, that's what drew people in. That's what recruited people to Spellman. It's a huge, huge part. And at the time that we were attending here, the football team was a little lacking. So there were other things for the kids to partake in. I can tell you that this program was then and is now critical for the students in their growth and development during the most hectic time of their lives, giving them an opportunity to be a part of something big. Not only are lifelong lessons learned on the stage upstairs, but lifelong friendships are forged as well. Some of the happiest times of my life were on display for hundreds, perhaps even thousands over the years, right upstairs on that stage, doing the Charleston or the Nowhere Step, which I found out later is actually called a jazz square. I am honored to be part of this and my fellow inductees tonight. Thank you so much.